Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. I'm having issues with our sound in the room. Give me a second here. Why is that not? Hmm, interesting. Hey, good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Carlos.
All right, looks like my sound's not going to the room. Let me reset the chat room here. If you could just type that to them, I see them sending back, but they cannot hear us right now. On YouTube, you should be completely fine. Um, there should be no issues there. Sound should be working just perfect. It's just in our chat room. Um, things are acting a little funky this morning.
Everything's frozen in the room there.
Hmm. Out this, I'm gonna close out everything completely. Try it on. Are you able to turn on the mic on your end? Just want to make sure it's just not me. There's the job report number reflecting on the spot at the moment.
Sure.
Oh,
The audio has been acting weird. Let me give it a shot 1 second.
yeah. Give it a shot. I'll keep restarting here.
Oh,
Wait,
not connecting to media server, so no,
I'm
it's
getting the
not you.
same thing. So it's not just me. Okay. Tell our friends over on our chat when they can join YouTube so we don't delay things here. I'm not going to try to troubleshoot that now. But it's not on my end. All right, guys. We're looking at the spy right now. Numbers were released. I didn't get to hear them. I forgot Norm is off today. I was actually waiting for him to read the numbers out. Peter, not sure if you have the numbers that just came out. I know we're kind of trying to troubleshoot at the same time.
Actually, I even managed to update his little sheet. So let's
Ah,
see.
sweet. Looking forward to that as well. So let's just go ahead and get started here, guys. Looking at our gappers list really quick. Couple of things in the red. This is going to change drastically depending how the market reacts in just a few minutes, right? Job numbers were released today. That was the big thing we're waiting for towards the end of the week. You can see the spies reacting now, and we got some names that are here now. Most likely have their own movement happening. For example, a finger motion, NVIV, and these other ones are moving actually away from the markets. Markets gap down slightly. These are up quite a bit. So these got their own thing going on. We'll look into them, especially DKNG could be a good one. Looking forward to see what's moving that there. With that said, let's head over to the market post and kind of see what's going on, Peter, with today's action.
Yeah, so look, it's an odd Friday in that there's a lot of stuff happening. Normally, we don't have quite so many things. But as you can see on the economic calendar, we got the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate both coming out or just came out a few minutes ago. Non-farm payrolls are expected to be somewhere between 250 and 275,000 new jobs being created. The Fed actually wants to see that number going down. If you remember, anyways, the July number. So I guess this was the August? No, this would be the September number, I guess, that just came out. In August, there was over 300,000 jobs, which is a little higher than the Fed wanted. They're trying to cool that off. And the number came in at 263. So that's right in the range where people are expecting. So that should calm the markets a little bit, that the Fed won't have to take even more drastic action to cool the economy off. And the unemployment rate was expected to come in at 3.7%. Now it's actually down at 3.5%. So, which means actually a strong economy still happening. So, so I guess overall it's relatively, okay news. It should mean that for the market, it's not going to cause any undue panic. That being said, if we look at the SPY overall, we are up. Despite the 1% pullback yesterday, we're up over 4% on the week, which if it holds today, if we don't see a massive drawdown today, this will be the biggest single week gain since June. Which is relatively positive for the market. So as you can see, Carlos has got that up there. So yeah, but right where we're sitting now, we're actually losing some of those gains. So we'll see what happens. Everybody's sort of hoping that the market sort of stabilize on this Friday, but it is a Friday, and we haven't yet hit the fall earnings season. So Fridays typically get slightly lower volume, as I've been saying for it feels like many months now. I guess it has been. Usually, what you can expect on Fridays is good opening action, and then things to taper off in the afternoon. We've been seeing that every afternoon all week. So,
Hmm.
today probably won't be an exception. So, if you're looking to trade today, probably after the open into noon is your best opportunity. But hey, you never know, right? I'm here all day and I have to get my best trades into the close. So, we'll see. As you can see on the calendar, anyways, just finishing out the day, we do have wholesale inventories. Just an update coming later this afternoon, and the New York and Atlanta Feds are speaking. Neither of those, excuse me, should have a huge impact on the markets overall. Just in two items for market news because it hit last night. So before the markets closed yesterday, there was a statement, I guess, made by the U.S. president saying that he pardoned those that had pot or marijuana related offenses and is looking to influence the states to pardon those that had marijuana related offenses as well. The pot sector had a big pop up yesterday afternoon. I don't see much happening so far this morning, but Tilray and CGC, for example, are two that were positively affected by that. On the other side, we had overnight Samsung, which announced extremely weak PC sales and lowered their forecast significantly. AMD quickly followed suit and lowered their forecast by over $1 billion. They went from 6.7 billion in expected revenue for the next quarter to 5.6. And if you look at sort of a minute by minute chart, maybe Carlos, after hours yesterday, you can see a massive, like, look at that. Look at that. No, that's this morning. We're getting there. There you go. Look at those big candles, baby. So, it made the daily action look completely flat. I mean, look at that's a $5 drop, which, is what, 7% or 8% or something of AMD. So, it recovered a good portion of it, but you can see a big drop off on the announcement of the pullback of their previous forecast. Nvidia has a very similar set of candles. It was more of a sympathy play as far as I know. Nvidia didn't make an announcement, but it got taken down with the news as well. So there you go. So you can see that. So we'll see. I see AMD's on the gap down list. No surprise there, but it could be interesting and in play today. May not be good if you're a long-term holder of AMD. It's already down over 30% in the last couple of months. But yeah, it's the semis are suffering. So that's all the overall market news that I'm really aware of, and we'll get into some individual stocks and see what's happening.
All right, thank you so much, Peter, for that. Yeah, interesting stuff happening, and as we mentioned, some of the stuff on our gappers list already is probably part because they had their own individual news, like we saw with AMD and Nvidia there this morning. All right, looking at the SPY here now, Peter. Is good news still bad news, or have we flipped the switch? Like, do you know when that indicator changes? Because I'm a bit confused on how to follow that trend. Are we good news, bad news, or what's the situation there?
I honestly can't say that I know. Like, it seems like any news is getting interpreted differently depending on the expectations, right? So no, I don't think we sort of flip that where you can immediately assume bad news is good and good news is bad, or whatever. It's sort of funny, we've been talking about that for a while, but it sort of comes to expectations. So right now, like we were talking about, so jobs are down, which means, so that's bad news for the economy, but good news for the markets, I think. But it doesn't mean that the markets are going to react that way, because don't forget, layered on top of it, the semis have a big pull. So that news of an economic slowdown on chip demand is going to have concerns about other market sectors. So, I do think, Carlos, we have to just continue to sort of take it sort of moment by moment almost, and wait and see what the market tells us, because I have failed every time I've tried to predict what's going to happen in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's get to our gappers list here this morning, and we'll start with Ambc. And as I click on here, I notice I have not linked my trade ideas. So let's do that now. Right over here, you can click on, to show you how to do this. If you're using trade ideas, you go to tools, you click on external linking, and that's going to pop this up. And what this allows you to do is not just on Dash Trader Pro, and anywhere where you can fill in text, you can add a link and just take your cursor over to wherever you want to fill a text. It could be here, it could be in the chat. Sometimes I did in the chat one time, and every time it just kept going there by mistake. But you could put it anywhere. I'll put it on here, hit shift, and then that's going to record that area. And now going forward, Every time you click on any of the scanners on trade ideas, it's going to populate that ticker information there. So if you did not know how to do that, hopefully that can help. All right, guys, over on YouTube, we're experiencing some sound issues with our chat room. They're working on it now. So if you're in the chat and can hear us, hopefully somebody can let them know what's going on. Um, actually, you know what? Let me turn on the video here.
Testing. Just
Oh, I can
testing in
hear
the
you.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I got your echo. Looks like that has been fixed. Let's go ahead and. All right. There we go. All right. Sound and audio in the room now. Perfect.
We got an echo going on, Carlos. Well, maybe that's me. Hold on, me.
Hmm.
There you go.
You
That's
are
me,
good now?
maybe. All
Okay.
good.
Perfect. All right, guys. All right. Let's get to it. Started with AMBC this morning. We are up 20%. This ticker, 44 million shares float. Does not seem great off the bat here. Peter, any news worth keeping this on here? I'm not a big fan of what I'm seeing right now with the volume and the way the daily and pre-market action is.
Well, that's a good question. I haven't had a chance to look it up. So
Yeah.
AMBC. Let's see what's happening with it. They had a settlement with $1.8 billion settlement with Bank of America. So that's what's
Okay.
a little bit of a rally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever seen this on my trading list. I can't remember ever sort of looking it up during the market and saying, "Oh, this is something I want to trade."
Mm-hmm.
But maybe today's that day.
Could be. I'm just concerned. Look at our gap down list, by the way, already this morning. I just feel like we might be getting better stuff to trade off this gappers list, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be almost hard to put this as a possible right now. I'm going to leave it off for the moment. Uh,
Even with that big news, they still have 280,000 shares traded, which is not that big. I would
it's
hope
not
for,
great.
you'd be looking for 500,000, 1,000,000 shares if it was really going to be sort of a big in play stock.
Yeah, and there were days this week that we didn't have much to watch, and the watch is built on after the open, and a day like that this could easily be on here. But today with the news and the spy, I mean, look at our gap down list has some tickers that I prefer to have on my list. Let's head over to DKNG's one that can trade very well. This morning they're up 6%. Daily doesn't look great, and I have not looked at this ticker in quite some time, so I'm not sure if things are have been trading well for them. Looks like last night they had some news break out here.
Yep. Yeah, there was some news that, and it is a rumor, not fact at this point because it hasn't been confirmed, but that Disney's subsidiary ESPN is, very close to a big deal with DraftKings. So if that happens, of course, being one of the largest providers of content, and they would be a big positive lift, of course, for Donkey Kong, as we like to lovingly call it, but DraftKings. So that's
Hmm.
what's spurring it this morning. So I say it's a rumor. Keep that in mind because if you get a Disney executive or a marketing department that comes out and says we're denying the rumors or not providing comment, we could see this thing drop. On the other side, if they confirm the rumor, then it could spike up. So I think if you're going to trade DKNG, keep a close eye on the news this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put that on once possible because that could be interesting today, depending how things play out. So we'll keep that there for now. SNTI, we've seen the last couple of days just do this a massive run up from basically a penny type stock, a dollar, running up to 550, and even 9. So it's got some movement to it. Typically, not the type of price action that I am watching, the type of ticker that I am watching. It has been in play the last couple of days. I don't know how much upside you have left here. I do not see shares for sure on Interactive Brokers, right? It is on SSR. Why is it on SSR? Because it sold off yesterday that much, I guess. I don't know. But either way, yeah, I'm not liking it a whole lot here. We can come back to it. Put it as possible. The float on this is 33, so it will have to be here in our risky pile. The one thing
Uh,
I do like about this one, Peter, is that it has been running up the last couple of days, right?
yeah.
It's been more than 3-4 days. Go ahead.
Yeah, which I was going to say, I think that run up is exactly why that's probably on SSR. The concern would be it would give back all of those gains on any sort of news burp. It's been
Hmm.
running up on the news that it's got some cancer killing capability that they're developing, and so the market's awaiting sort of further data on that to demonstrate it. I haven't seen news in probably about a day or two on it, really, but yeah, it's I haven't actually spent any time with it. It's one of those that we know Norm, if he was here, would not like. It's under 10
Yeah,
bucks and
yeah.
sort of a low float stock. So, um,
Yeah,
but
and that catalyst, man, those catalysts of cancer treatment or any type of disease that have not been cured for a very long time, uh, they tend to just drop off the face of the earth. We see it happen so often. So I don't like to play that catalyst. It's just one of these biotech companies I just don't like it. They end up just crashing. So careful with this one if you're going to be watching this here. Let's look at eventually one day we'll get one that gets it and it'll just blow up and it'll be the best
somebody
thing
will cure
ever.
cancer.
Yeah, so it'll happen. It'll happen. I'm hopeful. And when that happens, forget it. It's hopefully we're all on board for that. Um, AMD. Let's see what's gapping down today. AMD leading the way, guys. Peter, you broke it down already. What's going on here? This is definitely going to be in play. It's doing its own thing. The market is definitely not helping it today. It is down 6%, 1.7 million shares traded. So it's amazing volume for AMD.
Yeah, AMD usually gets some good volume pre-market, but this is huge compared to what they normally do.
Yes.
Look where the price is positioned on the daily. You can see we're right at that those September lows. So if we break through this level, I mean, there's a lot of room if you zoom out there on the daily to go. So we'll have to see. I
Hmm.
mean, as everybody probably knows, I watch AMD every day. That this is I don't really want to see it drop too much past this, but it could very well. So I'll certainly be keeping a very tight eye on AMD.
Yeah, I agree 100%, guys. This will be a good one for today. All right, heading down, we have a bunch here. Actually, I'm not even scrolled up to the top of the list. Here we go. We skipped two on here. NVIV, which was up nicely this morning to 13 from the start of $8 and then drops down to 6. What is going on with this thing? Invo Therapeutics, big day yesterday, and just some crazy pre-market action this morning.
Yeah, the only real news I see is that they announced a private placement offering, so it operates sort of like a secondary offering. It's not even
Okay.
huge. I mean, this is a low float. I see 11 million shares in the float. I see you've got 1 million shares in the float. So, I mean, this is a $9 million registered direct private placement. I mean, in most stocks that wouldn't even register, right? But
Yeah.
um, so. I don't know what that that really means. I mean, other than for me, what it means, it's a no, 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 no.
Yeah, I agree 100%, guys. You just don't know what to expect on this. And the way this thing is moving through some of these dollars, I mean, managing your risk on this could be very difficult. I think we're going to have a great list today. The market's going to create a lot of volatility for us to look at. Finger motion, I've been skipping this. I just have not touched it. I know some people traded it early on when it started breaking out here. It's on its way down now. No shares for sure. It's starting to get a little bit on the extended side. And this is the one, as you guys remember, with no real news whatsoever. So maybe the fun is over on this one, and we're coming back down to a dollar here for coming back to reality. So let's head on down to AMD. We have Nvidia. You want to add something to that, Peter?
No,
Uh,
I just the
just want
name
to
finger.
laugh at it.
I picture myself saying, someone says, "Hey, so where are you working today?" I work for Finger Motion,
Yeah.
and
What is that?
somebody's
Mouse
like, "What?
clicks? Like
What the hell's
what is
you know
that?
when they get those lists of things that sound dirty but aren't? That's on my
Yeah,
list.
that is definitely on the list. There's no question. Finger motion. Um, Looking at Nvidia this morning, Nvidia is again just moving alongside with AMD, as Peter mentioned earlier. Definitely another one that's going to be in play as well. So not as much volume as AMD. AMD is just insane amount of volume this morning. The next three, I'm not four, five. The next five are usually tickers that I am not a big fan of because they can trade very, very choppy. They're normally not in play unless there's some type of news. So I'm not sure if there's any major news on all of these. Even INTC at times not ideal. Let's
Yeah,
see. what it looks like
I
here.
mean, there's a common piece of news across all of them, I think. Basically, everybody's lowering their forecasts. Levi's came out and lowered their forecast.
Hmm.
CVS lowered the forecast on their Medicare division specifically, but that has a
Hmm.
big impact on the stock overall. Lyft has, I think, lowered their reduced their guidance,
Hmm.
saying that there's increased competition. So we're seeing sort of this theme in the market where these forecasts are getting moved down, and that's certainly going to be a drag on the market today. And these stocks that are first out of the gate are going to be the biggest ones that are hit.
Yeah, yeah. And if looking at their pre-market action, it's really, really low volume at the moment with Levi, Carvana, CVS can trade so brutal at times. I stay away from it if I can. If there's nothing happening there. Mara's not looking too bad. Today Mara is looking very decent this morning, so I'm gonna add them on the list. I like what they're doing now. Volume's only 236. It could be better, but I like this drop we're getting here. Again, could just be overall market movement, but this might be worth having on the list today. Lyft, again, just not ideal. You are getting some volume here. Maybe a possible today. I like their daily for a loss of this level if we can. Spies dumping. Yeah, that's gonna create some movement of some of these tickers. Let's put Lyft here. It might not stay there, but we'll see. All right, heading down, we got Carvana, which I'm not a big fan of. INTC. Anything on INTC or just like you mentioned, overall guidance?
Yeah, I think this is sympathy with after the announcement. I would expect to see pretty much everything in the sector with both, Samsung and AMC reducing their forecasts. Everybody's expecting Nvidia and Intel and sort of all the other chip makers to soon lower their forecast in turn.
Yeah, yeah. Which I again I like the catalyst of anything involved with AMD today could be interesting. So INTC actually thinking about that. That could be a good secondary to have on there. We have coin. I'm gonna keep Mara on deck, although coin dropping very good as well here with a little bit less volume. But both of these looking really nice today. We have Shopify, which I'm not a big fan of. And there's just a ton. We're not gonna go through all of these. I'm just gonna pick a few, and then I'll let you guys throw some stuff at me. We'll look at Neo. Neo has been just amazing. You guys saw that drop yesterday on Neo. It's just been so clean to trade. If you wait 10, 15 minutes, the continuation on Neo yesterday and the day before were just so clean. Look at this drop here. Look at this drop here. And with that, we can, if you prefer to trade something a little more volatile, a little more, risky and more rewarding, could be Tesla, right? Tesla has been also in play heavily. I find Neo much easier to trade to manage the risk. But Tesla is one that's definitely going to be on our list as well. Man, I feel like I have the list completed already, and we have not even looked at Apple. Apple's going to be a good one today for the way the market is moving, right? So put Apple on deck, and I'm going to stop here. Peter, anything that you like on your end this morning?
I've liked Oxy for a while. It continues to move well. It's almost like a good barometer of what the oil sector is doing. Continued news out of that with the U.S.
Hmm.
talking about sort of creating independent sources of oil, sort of freeing them from the dependence on Middle East oil. Oxy just tends to move surprisingly well during the market hours, so it might be something to keep an eye on. The other thing, it might be worth watching the banking sector. We had a little bit of news out of the banks today. We sort of saw that with which was it, the Ambc, which got that settlement. But normally these don't move well pre-market. But I just think with the general economic news of economic slowdown, that usually causes reaction in the banking sector. So you have to expect it's usually like it's not the massive moves you would get on a Tesla, but
Right.
they can often be steady and reliable. So I might look at BAC or Morgan Stanley, something like that. So.
Yeah, yeah, and they're all slightly down, about 1% right now. Some of them, you can see Bank of America, Citigroup, West Fargo, they're all down quite a bit. I usually like West Fargo, but there's some other ones looking better, like Citigroup, Bank of America is looking decent, and even JP Morgan. So you can pick your favorite on there, guys. I'm gonna put two on here. I'm gonna put Bank of America, and I'm gonna put JP Morgan. West Fargo is a good one, usually my favorite, but today they look a little quiet compared to everything else. just slightly.
The other
So
one that I had mentioned earlier, but it didn't make it to the list, and probably reasonably so. Tilray or CGC. Remember the news
yes,
yesterday about the potential move. Again, we could get more news on that. You could get states coming out saying, "Hell no, we're not going to do it," or in terms of pardoning people or support, which just means that these stocks could jump on that news. I don't expect movement unless there's news, and no knowledge whether there will be news or not today. But maybe when you put off to the side, if you sort of like those big news pop plays, then this the marijuana sector could be a play.
yeah, yeah, agreed. Um, Yeah, I'm looking at CGC. Man, I did not know CGC was down at $3, hit $2 in
Yeah,
July.
no.
I mean, we haven't looked at this since it was hanging out around $9. Looks like the last time I looked at it.
we,
Um,
we were we
wow.
were talking this about this on the closing bell, Tilray specifically, because Mike was saying
Yeah.
how he remembers when Tilray hit 300, and it hit 300 on the dot. So, and it was
Yes.
down at $3. So literally, that's a 99% drop in the stock price. So that's just
It's wild.
that's
It's
stunning.
wild.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is
Look at that.
look at this. This was less than a year. Actually no, 2 years, and we're back down to $20, and now we're sitting at 379. Just crazy. Guys, these are in play. I'm probably gonna just add I don't know which one's the worst, better of the worst, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know which one to pick here. I'm gonna keep it off for now, and we can come back to that. Quick question: shouldn't we look at the price volume instead of volume alone? Coin has more volume than Mara, but definitely more dollar value. That's a great question, but I find that usually volume is a good, quick indicator, right? You can add as many filters to filter your list however you want, Christian. That's the great thing about trading. There's so many different combinations of strategies and filters. Like I know traders that look at the ATR, right, for the entire 14 days, and they decide if they like the ATR to put it on their list. I know traders that at the market open, the relative volume is a big deal, right? So I don't look at it as way. Now, keep in mind though, Mara for me has been a better trader than Coin. So um there's some input on my side based on my experience as well as me trading these tickers. Keep that in mind when we're looking at this. We're not like Jim Cramer that has to watch what he says. We're not those guys, right? We're also trading our own accounts. So there is going to be some tickers that I prefer to watch because of the way I trade them, right? So, and Mara tends to be that for me. So if I look at Mara, if I look at Coin, where's Coin here? Um, Coin, yeah, they're both very similar. I think just Mara can trade a little bit better. They have slightly more volume, and whether the dollar value it's higher or not, I'm not sure if that plays a huge difference, right? What we're looking at,
Yeah.
very
And
high level, yeah.
Christian, I would agree with Carlos. In fact, my personal philosophy, I'd put it even stronger to say no, that I just look at volume because as a trader, I want liquidity, right? I want to see number of shares because when I enter a trade, I want to make sure there's people immediately to take the other side of the trade from me without too much slippage. Volume usually means a lower spread, and a lower spread means a better price for me, and again, a quicker transaction rate. So that's what matters. And if you want to do an extreme example, right, if you're just going dollar volume, then you might look at something like Berkshire Hathaway. But I mean, it's not a day
Yeah,
tradable stock because
no,
each
no
share
way.
is, I don't even know what it is nowadays, a couple 100,000. So, you only have to trade a few shares and you get huge dollar volume, but it doesn't mean that it's tradable whatsoever. I mean, I know that's sort of an extreme example, but I just look at volume, straight volume.
Yeah, yes. For the type of trading we're doing, it makes perfect sense. But again, these two are so close, Christian. You can watch either one and be okay. They're so close in the price section; they're not that far off, right? Let's look at Twitter. Has volume. What is Twitter up to? How has it been trading? Because it's been dropping. Because I remember seeing it. I didn't look at it yesterday, but the day before, it was just so choppy. So
Yeah,
yes,
so there
yeah.
was there was news on Twitter yesterday. I mean, it's it's the continuing saga, right? But I would say that Elon's side got benefit. They were managed to delay the court case for another week and a half, I think it was, which people say is a benefit to Elon, so he can sort of roll out his next strategy. Nobody's quite
Mhm.
sure what that strategy is, though, right? Is it a strategy to secure the purchase? Or is it a strategy to get out of the purchase? Nobody quite knows what the heck's going on. So, but yeah. But anyways, that was the news, which is
Man, this is
causing some of the pop.
This is fun, fun, fun. So yeah, I just today this can be so choppy. There's just no clear really direction on it. I think the list here alone does not need Twitter today. That's just my take on it. I think we'll
I
have
agree.
some very, very clean moves, especially if we're paying attention to what this gentleman here, the spy, is going to do. Right? Keep looking at this one here. This is going to drag a lot of things on there, and we got some things with their own catalysts that are going to be powerful today. AMD and Nvidia to be on there. So, all right, guys. I think we're pretty much set. Anything on YouTube? Something we haven't looked at yet? Coin spread is high. AMD we have. Um, Tilray. You know what? I haven't put Tilray or CGC on my list. When I'll put CGC, and we'll fine tune this later. We'll figure out if that's a. The volume is great though. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the price though. So low at $3, both of them. Let's see what happens. Lee. Let's look at Lee. Pascal is giving us LI here. And
Yeah, it's funny. We
uh
haven't seen the EVs really on our list in the last couple of days. I mean, they were such great movers for quite a while, but yeah, they've sort of, I don't know, they've been pushed to the side a little bit.
yeah, although Lee had a huge drop yesterday here. But again,
Mm.
we've been focused on two really. Mainly Tesla. A lot of people have been watching Tesla. Obviously, they had their own news and you saw how that played out. And I think the ones that are not watching Tesla are most likely watching Neo, because look at the daily chart on Neo, how great it's been. The volume's been nice, and most importantly, the continuation, especially towards the downside. The continuation has been really, really good towards the downside on Neo. So that has been two much better EVs to look at. Rivian had, I think, one day, 2 days ago, and
Yeah,
then from there it has been very quiet. So um, not much happening
I was
there.
about to mention Rivian because exactly on the fourth it had some good movement, but it hasn't done much since really.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys, I think we're all set. There's going to be a lot to watch today. You can really build your own watches depending on what you like, and it could be completely different than mine. So looking forward to see what the moderators are going to put together and see how different our lists are. And either list is going to be amazing, just with the way the volatility is today and the things we're seeing in the market. With that said, if you haven't done so on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. We're sitting at 92 likes. We'd love to end the Friday with 250 likes plus. That would be amazing if we could do that. And let's get over to our community event and announcements. We'll head over to bearbootraders.com and you can click on webinars and you can always see what's coming up for the next 2 weeks.
Can I just say, Carlos, being in the jump seat here is much more relaxing than being in the captain's chair. So happy to be able to do the pre-market show from this seat today.
Yeah, with that said,
Very
man,
happy to have you back.
I appreciate you coming for 2 weeks. It's difficult to hop on for 2 weeks when you haven't done it in a while, and that's very hard to do, right? If you do it all the time, I'm sure you'll be a lot easier. But yeah, hopping on like that, it's not easy,
Oh
man. I
man, you know what?
appreciate it.
It would all go well to it wouldn't, and then I'd like hit panic mode because you know how you lose yourself every once in a while, and I'd start just hitting screens and things would go, and everybody's like, "What the hell is he doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, never mind, lost my mind." But let's get to our announcement. So we're on a Friday, which means through this week's schedule, and we're looking forward to next week. Every week, we always have a lot of activity for you here at Variable Traders. Mondays are always about onboarding and technology because that's when we get our new members that like to join either at the end of this week, like today. If you want to join, good time to do it. Get yourself set up for next week or over the weekend. Carlos leads an introduction to not only the community, but to trading in general. It's a great time to start asking some of your questions, whether they're technical about platforms, setup and configuration, or whether they're strategic about strategies and how to approach the markets. He is there to help you. So that's 8 o'clock on Mondays. We then move to Tuesdays where we talk strategy and trade book. Next Tuesday, Thor is going to be sort of revisiting his volume price analysis, the when. Keep in mind, Thor's got a new book coming out, which has been eagerly anticipated by our community because it contains a lot of information about his strategy that he trades to perfection, and he's going to take us through. He always talks about the when, the where, and the how, so he's going to tackle one of those three elements, the when, at 8 o'clock on the 11th of October, so that's next Tuesday. And then the week after, Carlos himself is going to be talking about the basics of ORB strategies. So we're going into some of the very specific trading strategies here, and you got two very different looks at it if you join us for those next 2 weeks. Wednesday is psychology. And we will then tackle the most important part, I would argue, of trading, managing the stuff that happens between your ears. Kreda is sort of a master of helping us through that. I had the benefit of some personal training from her, and it has positively impacted my trading for the last few years. She'll be with us on next Wednesday, October the 12th. Keep in mind, an early time. She's coming to us live from Europe, so it's an early time, so we're not having her up in the wee hours of the morning. So it's 5 p.m. market time, 5 p.m. Eastern. She's going to be talking about discovering your inner demons and how to manage that, and through self-reflection, figure out how to deal with that situation. The week after, Mike is going to be taking us back to the 101 of psychology and how your personal values affect your trading. These are very linked topics, and you'll see sort of the connection if you attend both of those webinars over the next couple of weeks. 5 p.m. Eastern, correct, I trade Nvidia. Thursdays are all about mentorship, and Thursdays we have multiple sessions that happen with John in the room, in our sort of webinar room for our elite members at 11 a.m. talking about different topics every single week and answering questions. Thor last night did his Thursday mentorship at 8 o'clock Eastern. Again, it's a great Q&A opportunity and a time to sort of get some sort of personal help. If you don't mind sharing in front of the group, it's always beneficial, and we always appreciate those that say, look, I've got this challenge, can you help me with it? Everybody sort of benefits from the answer and the active participation. We can't forget Ed, who's always training us. He's actually in the room at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Thursday he always gives us some in-depth education, and he did that yesterday, and he'll be doing it again next week. Fridays we take a little bit of a break as we wind it down for the week and head into the weekend, but as I said, great time to join. And if you do want to do that, then look, we've got start with the free stuff. If you go to our stock trading simulator, you can get huge value out of that. It's a great way to sort of run scenarios or test stocks. You can do that on our stocktradingsimulator.com. It is completely free. You're not going to get spammed with a ton of stuff. Give it a shot. Like, it is a very useful tool, and Eamon puts a lot of effort into maintaining it and upgrading it, as well as the rest of the team that is out there, led by Artie. And you're going to see actually some new stuff coming out of that very soon as well. So check it out. Also, we've got our trading terminal.com, which I've been using all morning to get news and information, updates on the market overall, as well as about individual stocks. We are working hard to make Trading Terminal your one-stop shop for the day traders, the retail traders that you can sort of go to and get news, earnings, anything that you need. Basically, it's all there for you. So check that out as well. We've actually even moved our scanners there, and you can check out a free scanners page. Again, sign up, it's free. You can get scanners all day. And then if you want to join in the chat room, sort of be part of a community, we have that for you as well. Our core Bearable Traders chat room, there's actually 2 chat rooms you get access to, our main one, and then the chat room that Ed leads. You get 2 very different perspectives on how to trade the markets, both very valuable and educational. And they're both will come to you for the low price of $24 if you want to join on an intro membership. Test it out, see what it's like, see what resonates with you. Use the code PreMarket24 to get access to that. And then if you want to join as a full member, you get access to all of the webinars we were talking about, our huge library of information, webinars, downloadable material. It's all there for you on our website, let alone our forums and support from this multi-thousand person community. Use the code READ50 to get a 50% discount off of our annual elite membership, not the monthly, but the annual. And you get a free one-on-one coaching session with the unparalleled Dr. Kenneth Reed. So with that, let's set some levels. And you're on mute, Carlos.
I am on mute. Thank you so much, sir. Cool. Let's get to it, guys. So let's start here with AMD. We'll set some levels here. And Peter, if you want to take a break, get some water, it's all good, man. Here we have AMD. 907. All right, we'll move through this. So let's delete here. All right, let's start with AMD. Our list today, guys, looking really. Was I fired? No, you're not fired at all, my friend. Usually this is the Peter texts me that. Oh, it is Friday. No,
Just
no,
checking.
you're still right here. But usually Norm, in this area, he would like to run around and do what he does, right? So, all right, no, you're not fired, Peter. Not at all, my friend. All
Okay,
right,
makes me feel better.
but
Thank you.
if you want to hang out here with me, you can absolutely do that. Let's start with AMD, guys. Do some levels here. Towards the bottom, I'm going to mark down the low of the pre-market. Peter mentioned before there is a level here where on the daily where we've seen some support in the past couple of days. Let's see if we can hold on to that. Obviously, the news for them has not been good. You saw that huge drop yesterday evening, and then just we're trying to hang on to some of these lows today this morning towards the top, highs and lows of the last two trading days. You also have a level right on here, 6609. I'm going to mark that there on the daily, and I think you're pretty much set. This is what 52-week low for sure. Last time, oh man, we have not been here in quite a bit. 2020, July, August. Okay, so if we zoom right in here, we're going back to July, August timeframe of 2020. We have 58. 89. I'm just gonna pick two right here, 58.89 and 61.81, right? Really old levels towards the bottom. If you're looking to break down from the most recent level we did here, right? So we'll keep a close eye on that. Here is Nvidia's sympathy play with AMD, but of course that's going to affect the way they're moving it today as well. Already great volume, 1.2 million shares traded. We are gapping down 4.7, and on the daily you can see the price action low of the pre-market, and everywhere we've seen some a little bit of support, or at least a lot of touches, right? We broke down from that quite a few times here, here, but we managed to go back up and close around this level for some reason. 123.82 is where that is. So definitely going to mark that down. And then if we were to lose that level, we do have 121.21, and all the way down here we do have 1940. So some pretty good levels there towards the bottom. Towards the top, we have some from just yesterday, the day before. We've been marking these down. We have 130. 136.63, which became the high from yesterday, right? So that's the high of day there as well. And then we have 140.40 towards the top. Looking at this, all you need to add, guys, is really the high of the pre-market this morning, 127.95. And you're all set here. You got plenty of levels for Nvidia that are making a lot of sense here. Here is Mara. Again, you can go Mara, you can go Coin. I didn't see Ride on the list, but I'm sure it's probably hanging down there somewhere. But pick your favorite Bitcoin. I think today you might see some action out of this. I usually don't put Mara or Coin on the list, but today could be interesting. Low of the pre-market, 1239. And you do have your highs and lows for the last two trading days there. Towards the bottom, if we were to lose more ground, I'll say 1129. I don't think we'll get there, but that's the next best daily level that we have. So you got some towards the top, some towards the bottom. And you're all set on Mara here. Love the pre-market activity. Again, a lot of this, guys, if you missed the morning action due to the job numbers report being released today at 8:30, you've seen the action here in the SPY that's creating a lot of the moves that you're seeing now in some of these tickers. This is why our gappers list, if you take a close look at that, is extremely long, right? And it's going to continue to grow as tickers get over that below 2%, D-Dog, on there below 2%, and they get 100,000 shares traded. So again, the whole cast is here, guys. Neo, Piton, Snap, Ride, XBEF, Lucid, Baba, they're all on here today. You have no lack of tickers, that is for sure. Let's take a look at Tesla. It's been so active the last couple of days. Not an easy ticker to trade, I gotta tell you. I mean, Tesla is active on its own when there's no news. Just on its own, it's doing its thing. It's moving with, 54? What's this? 54,000 shares being traded here? Pretty close, right? So it doesn't take much to make Tesla a ticker that moves. With news, look what's been happening with news. You're getting some really big moves here. And one of the challenges with Tesla is timing your stops. What size you're going to take. That's very important because you could be right, but the pullbacks are so aggressive that can stop you out of the trade. So looking at some levels here. Actually, no, hold on a second. Pre-market lows already here. At a pre-market low set for you here. That is the low from 2 days ago. So already this morning you're bouncing from that, so that's nice. Towards the top, you got plenty. Previous day close, high from the last two trading days. let's look towards the bottom, right? So towards the bottom, we're going to go through this stretch here between May, June, and July, right? You kind of flirted with this entire area here, which you're doing again now, trying to find some support. If you look towards the bottom, there's a level right over here. My line is crooked, but here's this one, 222.35. And then down here, 209. So we got some pretty good levels there on Tesla towards the bottom, and then towards the top, I think you're pretty much set. Looking at Apple, great volume, 1.6 million shares traded, down, just following the overall market this morning. Still could be a good trader. 141.64 is the low of the pre-market, and then 137.93 is an area where we had some support recently, the end of September, beginning of October. And if you look at the overall picture, there's just tons of stuff happening here. Highs and lows, previous day close. I mean, there's a lot here. I'm not going to complicate this and add too much to this. This looks pretty good the way it is right now. Guys, tons of possibles. Let's see. Our moderators lineup is empty. Huh? What's going on? Moderators don't know what they want to watch this morning, huh?
We're all slow on the uptake this morning.
Yeah, it's Friday. So I don't see a whole lot of moderators on here. Did I skip Neo? I did. You're right. I did skip Neo because I did not talk on Neo. But if we look at Neo, we have some levels from the past. I've been watching this one almost every day this week. So we got 1667, probably the most a reasonable one. You don't need to worry about these right now for the way that the price action is. I see Brian coming in with his list. Excellent. We'll read that out in just a second. 1430 is a good one there. Low of the pre-market. High of the pre-market over at 1470. This thing had a big drop this morning. Actually gapped down quite a bit, right? It ended at 1505. It dropped down to 1435. We're heading back there now. So aside from the jobs report, this thing's already being very weak this morning. Last time we've been down here is going to be in May. So we go over to May. We see where we're trying to hold this area where we've seen support in the past. But we also got this 1357 and obviously all the way down here, 1171. So that is Neo, guys. It's been an amazing trade. On Neo, just wait about 10 to 15 minutes on Neo. Let it pick its trend. And when it's gapping down, after it decides which direction it's going to go, the continuation has been really clean. So don't rush into this one. Literally give it 5, 10, 15 minutes and wait for that setup to show up nicely. All right, moderators list is in, guys. Let's take a look at that. As I resize this over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. Just 100 likes away. Just 100 likes away. I say it like it's a small number from 250. So if you can help us get there on this Friday, we really appreciate it. It helps a lot as we continue to grow our channel. All right, let's bring our moderators list, and then we'll hand it off to our guys to take over. Peter, if you want to read your list as I resize this year, would be great.
I was hoping you would read my list.
I would read your list. Do we have any? Where's my? All right, let's see here. Oh, why is it not? Oh, okay, here we go. I was doing the wrong thing. I'm trying to make sure I don't cut the video.
I will say while he's figuring that out, we've had a really lack of IPOs recently. There's like CTM, for example, is an IPO that was supposed to come out this week. I still see no indication that it's going to come out today. It's actually listed for today, but they've sort of been bumping it day by day. It was listed every day for the last 4 or 5. So I right now, I've got no line onto any IPOs, and it could be another couple of weeks before they come out. This is not the market condition where generally you want to put a new offering out there. And with bad economic news, they're likely to delay them even further. So it's been slow on IPOs, and if you guys are seeing some, because recently there's also been occasionally ones that come out without announcement. They just sort of quietly put them onto the market. So if you see any of those, let me know. But I don't see anything that's scheduled.
Yeah. Let's get to our list this morning. As the moderators are putting it together, Brian looking at AMD. I'm sure everybody's going to be looking at AMD today. CVS, Tesla, and some of the indices. And then Peter, this is what you have to read your list. All right. Peter's watch list, AMD, secondary list, Apple, Oxy, and Bank of America. If there's a day for AMD to be on everybody's list, it's today. It is just the news, everything. It's going to be a good one. 3 million shares already, guys, down 4.8. Mike's list, Tesla, AMD, and Apple. Megan, AMD and Apple. Jerry looking at AMD, Tesla, Apple, Coin, and secondary list XBEF, SPY, and the Qs this morning. So there you have it, guys. Brian and Andrew are up next, trading live. It is Friday, so as you know, please make sure to be disciplined. It's so funny. I put this post up on Twitter, and make sure you follow. By the way, follow Peter at BBT Peter. Right, so follow him. That is the correct account for Peter. Follow him on Twitter. He's posting stuff there when he travels and some good knowledge as well. And I posted this yesterday. I will immediately be a better trader if and I love the responses we got from a lot of people. You can follow me on Twitter, Carlos M at BBT. And I love this one here from our good man here, Ed. Hi, my name is Ed. I'm an alcoholic. My trading will be better if I was allowed to drink a little before the open. So Ed having some fun there. But guys, on a serious note, I mean, there's so many things that you are in control of when it comes to your trading, right? So think about, if you were to do 1, 2, 3 immediately, what would it do as for your trading? How can you become a better trader? You'd be surprised how much you are in control of your trading. The one thing you're not in control of is the market. That's the one thing. Everything else, if you think about it, you are in control. So, take that power, use it wisely and be disciplined, right? We'll keep it short today because we're running late. But just again, have an amazing weekend, guys. Be disciplined for today's trading. So, thank you, Peter, for covering for Norm. Appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. Have a great weekend, everybody.